Hello, my name's Michael Machine. We are at the SUSE conference 2024, and watch out today because we'll be posting interviews of the delegates that we're going to be speaking to here at the conference. So, what do you think of the conference so far, Danielle?
It's a really good event. There's a lot of networking with a lot of different organisations, so it's a really good opportunity to meet people and just meet new people and catch up with some familiar faces.
Why do you think it's important to have a conference like this every year?
Because the employment of disabled people is an ongoing topic. Because we've came a long way, but there's still a long way to go. So I think it's good to have an annual conference to keep it at the forefront of everyone's minds.
There's people delivering supported employment all over Scotland, and this is one of the few times of the year where they get the opportunity to come together and share ideas.
And what's like, because I've known Boys Interactions for years and SUSE for years as well, and discover a bit of a gap in the market between getting people with a disability into full-time employment. I don't need to tell you that because you've been a champion for many years. So what do you think the skill needs to happen?
I think it's proper investment, and I think I was part of the review of supported employment, the group that looked at the terms of reference for that, and I wholeheartedly agree with the recommendations, particularly around quality standards, around data collection, and around professionalising staff development, because I think this is all really important ways that we can ensure that there's consistency of quality of service, but also consistency of availability of service right across Scotland.
So Alison, that experience network, why is it so important to have that?
Well, the experience network is vital because, as we've been saying throughout the day, it's important that people who actually have experience of disability are having their voices heard in the employment sector and indeed any sector. So experience networks are vital really as a way of encouraging voices to be heard and allowing people with disabilities to actually have a say in what happens and the way things happen in a workplace and how they're treated in a workplace and about the needs that every specific individual needs, because that's the thing, that you need an experience network with a very wide variety of people in it. It's all very well having one or two people, but as somebody said today, every disabled person is different, so has their own needs, their own unique circumstances. So having an experience network is essential really, and to have as broad a canvas as possible to work from in order to make employers much more confident when it comes to employing disabled people.
I think what's concerning me slightly is that organisations seem to be watering down their disability inclusion support infrastructure and making it very general, and which means what often then happens, the disability message gets lost within race and gender and other protected elements within D&I, and I think that's beginning to creep in. And I think when they're doing that, that's kind of like going back to the way it was maybe 20 years ago. So when the ramification of that is that employment gap will get worse. You'll get the gap will get wider.
Just tell us at the moment where we sit with the employers, and I take it they've got a better kind of understanding about people with a disability and why it's so important for people with disabilities to work, because you know yourself it would help your mental health and all that. So if they kind of bought on to that, and I was going to say caught on, but you would think it would be a given that they would just do that.
You would think it would be a given. It's not. I think there's still a lot of learning for employers around the benefits of having a range of people, both non-disabled and disabled and neurodivergent, workers in the workplace. And I think that people are in employment, decision makers in companies are starting to see some of the benefits, but I don't think they always fully realise it, and they often put up more barriers themselves, even though they want to help. And I guess a lot of the work that I do is trying to help remove those barriers, demystify some of the myths that are out there about what it means to employ a disabled person or a neurodivergent person. But also, I think it's really important work that we're doing with employers to really educate around the disability employment gap, because it's still too big, still way too big. And I think the more education that we can do with people, the more case studies of where we can show success of how disabled and neurodivergent people can flourish in the world of work just as anyone else can, the employers start to see the benefit of that. But it takes time, but we're getting there.
So this is the second year that you've been at the conference and you're facilitating a workshop. Why do you think it's important to have your kind of workshop at this event?
Oh, for a couple of reasons. I think I'm passionate about unemployment and economic inactivity. It's rocketed since COVID, and I think there needs to be more urgency policy-wise to address it. And I think the values and culture of SUSE are exploring that in terms of supporting people that need support, if that makes sense, but are maybe been not given the support at the moment. So it's to raise awareness around economic inactivity, unemployment, and make the case for investment and more targeted investment. So something I'm very passionate about. And I think with an election looming, some of that gets put in the back burner. So I'm very keen to make sure it's up front and centre in terms of future policymakers.
And I suppose that leads on to my next question about what's the economy like for when it comes to employing people with a disability. Can you tell us a wee bit about at kind of government level?
Yeah, I think it's a really mixed bag, to be honest with you. There's a lot of national programmes like Access to Work and some local provision. It's a mixed bag in terms of performance, I think. Some of it's good, some of it's not so great. I think there needs to be a more coordinated approach in terms of supporting people with disability. The statistics, all the statistics at government level suggest people with disability want to work, but find it difficult to access the integrated and sequenced support. So it's not about offering them a job, it's about that wraparound support to help them get a job. I don't think there's enough of it at the moment.
So are you enjoying the day?
I'm having a wonderful time. This is our first time attending the conference, and we were here with our stall, and we also presented a workshop this morning, which was fantastic. We got to meet so many wonderful people, so I'm really enjoying it.